How do you set goals that are so simple that you can't miss them? Back to the little 3x5 card. This is what I use the whole time, forever. Because when you write a thing and make it clear, it's established onto you. So it says, I'm so happy and glad. Everyone say that, please. Now remember, you see, this is June 28, 1993, when Chicken Soup is coming out, after we'd been rejected by 144 people. I'm so happy and glad I'm selling 1.5 million Chicken Soup at the Sold Books in a year and a half, signed by myself, by Dr. Jack Canfield, and our publisher, HCI. What's the result? A year and a half later is Christmas, because most books are sold during November, December. We sold 1.3 million by December 94, 5 million, because I write all the goals for Jack and Mark by 95, 10 million the next year by 96, 15 million by 1999. Now we've sold over 500 million books. Why? Because if it's in writing, all you do is catch up to it. And you say, well, that's too easy. I ain't got it in my mind. You ain't got it until you got it in writing, until you look at it 4 times, until you put it in the mirror when you're shaving or doing your makeup and you look it in, you etch it into the fabric of your being, into your soul. Because you and I are the ones that are going to save the problem. Not the damn faceless politicians that are making some really stupid ass, dumbass, squared decisions as far as I'm concerned. Now, a few of you might like some of the idiots in different places, but I happen to think they're not very smart. So you all know that when you're setting your goals, you're going to set 101. How many are you going to set? 101. Now some of you say, whoa, wait a second. Somebody taught me different. Well, I was just on the biggest podcast in Europe with Rob Moore, with my wife, because we do a lot of podcasts around the world. He had about 10 million people listening. So I said, he started the show different. He said, I heard you talk to 15,000 people in London and you goal shamed me. I said, excuse me? He said, my teacher says you should have 5 goals. And he said, last year I had 5 goals. I hit 4 of that. I'll call that 90%. He said, you came along and said you got to set 101 and you never crossed them out. I got the milk, I got the eggs, I got the butter. You write down in God's highest color, purple. Right? Victory. What are you going to write next to it? Victory, because all of us have pulsations. The big word is vicissitudes of life. Will it get you? Anyhow, the point is, he said, I wrote down 101 goals. Last year I made $30 million because of you, but I only hit 30% of my goals. He said, I couldn't be more thankful. There's nothing you could ask me to do probably that I wouldn't do. Because I never heard anyone say, hold up and write goals. They got to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic. Realistic is not the time we're in. The guy I'm going to talk about most is Elon Musk. What is he doing? He's going to bail our asses out. SpaceX isn't going into space and landing, which he's the only one that could do it. NASA, 50 years, screwed it up because it's government and they didn't do it. And any of you working for NASA, I love and bless you. We got up there in the 60s. Bucky was senior advisor at NASA, so I love all the astronauts. They're great friends still. Buzz Aldrin that are like that. The point, I'm not picking on them. The point is we stopped backing what needed to be backed, and I'm on the board of Back to Space, so I know what I'm talking about. What did he do? He says, this year I pick up near-Earth asteroids. The first one has $10 quadrillion worth of gold, silver, precious metals, and I'm going to bail us out of this. He swears like I do, so you can pick up the words. Now, when you say your 101 goals, you're going to do it through a tennis tournament, and you're going to do the best of 8 and get to wherever you want to go. But your driver goal, in our case, 1.3 million in a year and a half, 1.5 million. Right, we're 200,000 short, but our driver goal gave us everything else we wanted: the cars, the houses, the travel. And at that time, Jack naively said, when I get 1 million, I'm going to retire. I said, Jack, I'm a multimillionaire before we started working together. You ain't going to retire. He's older than me. He graduated Harvard when I was graduating elementary school, probably. Here's Bucky Fuller, for those of you that don't know him, and he had lots of stuff, and he got great books, and you ought to read, Utopia or Oblivion, his first book you ought to read by his 40 books. But he says, real wealth is ideas, 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 ideas. You're coming to a seminar because this is ideas, ideas. All I'm trying to do is gadfly you, hit the spiritual spark plug to wake you up to your ideas, times energy. Everyone make the infinity sign. The infinity sign is what Ken has on all of his companies. The infinity sign. Make it. Everybody, use your hands. Infinity. You got to get this because energy is infinite. It's omni-recyclable. We don't have to go through the laws, but real wealth is ideas times energy. Therefore, real wealth is potentially infinite, but it starts with who? Touch yourself, say me. Touch your neighbor's elbow and say, "thee." Now, I'm with Bucky Fuller and I go crazy. I say, wow, I got to write infinite goals of what I want to do. And I wrote down all my crazy goals. One of which was I want to talk to people like you around the world, get paid highly for it, although this is free. The book that you just heard Ken say that my wife and I have written, it is the #1 right now. It's called Ask, The Bridge from Your Dreams to Your Destiny. And we teach you how to relate the 7 roadblocks. First one is a sense of self-worth, then doubt, then fear, then naivete. Right, you're going to read it. We've got a few of them out there. They're $20 if you want one. They're $28 if you buy it on Amazon. So it's like a good deal for you, and we'll sign it and all that. But we only got a few, and we're going to give you a bunch of other stuff. What do we teach you? 3 things. Ask yourself. Ask others. Ask God. Now, with God, all things are possible. Therefore, you're dealing with infinite stuff if you pay attention and do it, and you ought to have it, because each of us has to overcome fear, ignorance, and negativity. Now, one of the books I'm going to show you that I wrote that's a bestseller is called 1 Minute Millionaire, and it's a whole series, and I got $1 million for it. We wrote it for Random House, but in that we teach you get a rubber band. Now, this is your one of your second or third homework assignment. You get a rubber band. Every time you think a negative thought for the next 30 days, you're going to do this. Ow! Everyone simulate it. Hold up your left hand, please. Take your rubber band and go, Monday night, Ken, George, Tarl, my wife and I had dinner together, a great meal here in Scottsdale. Tarl said, you know, I learned that from you. And he said, I'm with this woman way before his wife, and she's saying something, and I'm just unconscious, and I go, ow! She said, did I say something negative? Now you also see this sign at Ken's, and it's a circle. It comes from Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman philosopher who I hope you read. But he said, hard times create strong men. Everyone say, and women. Remember, they were chauvinistic in the old days. Everyone say, that's me. Strong men create good times. We're going to go back into good times because you and I are awake. I've come through being bankrupt, so I'm real clear that I decided to be a strong man after I wanted to kill myself. Then good times create wake men, and we've just come out of the best times ever, but nothing compared to what's going to happen in this 10 years. There's going to be more money, more billionaires than ever, and now we've never had $1 trillion, and all of a sudden Apple becomes $1 trillion, and all of a sudden we've got one guy is a trillionaire. He's running 5 multi-billion-dollar companies. I can name all of them, but you know Solar City and Tesla, and I'm going to show you that at the very end, so it's very cool. You heard George say the yin and yang thing, which is the whole Asia, yin and yang. Crisis equals opportunity. We got the biggest crisis. We've had a COVID confinement cocoon. Stealing our liberty, stealing our freedom. That's why this Limitless Conference exists, because some people tried to screw with us. And they're going to try to do it again if you're not awake. Everyone take your hands and touch your temples. Say, I'm awake. Because the opportunities are limitless, because a lot of people are shutting down, or going to stay shut down, or going to be wearing masks, or going to be fearful and not understand what the truth is. And you and I have got to change all that, and it's up to us to do it. So I said, how well did this guy do? Well, you know, he was born in South Africa, went to Canada to study, came to America, studied at Wharton, and got a business degree in economics. But then he goes to Stanford. And at Stanford, he does some really interesting things. 1995, he writes outrageous goals. He's going to have sustainable energy production and consumption. He's going to be in the internet. He's going to have space exploration. He's going to have artificial intelligence. He's going to rewrite genetics. He wouldn't go to class. He still got A's because he handed this in to the professors, and they said, I don't know if you could do it, but it sure looks cool if you could do it. So if you're going to have limitless goals, everyone say, I got limitless goals. Everyone? You got to have limitless goals. What did he do? He did Tesla and Tesla Pi. What is this phone doing? Remember, he got Apple, Tim Cook, who got paid $100 million last year, stole his top designers to build the Apple car. Elon Musk said, you're screwing with the wrong guy. Tim Cook said, what are you going to do? He built a new phone that comes out in 2 weeks called Tesla Pi. If you haven't watched it on YouTube, you need to, because it has automatically 2 terabytes. It has an open system, so you put it in the sunlight for 2 hours and it runs for 60 hours. It's going to be connected to his 40,000 satellites. I get goosebumps telling you. It goes on, but you got the picture. He says Apple's going to go bankrupt because they screwed with me. I like Apple products. I like Steve Jobs, his guts and all that. But the point is, you don't have to steal anybody's people. He's got a car. He said, they're going to catch up. He said, they're 5 years behind where I am. It didn't matter that they stole my people because I'm the one with the ideas. Everyone say, I'm the one with the ideas. You got to be careful not to take in the crisis news network information all day long. It will when I went bankrupt because I watched the news and I read the New York Times. I was living in New York and I went, oh my God, because they get paid to despoil you. They get paid to pollute you. They get paid to have you crash and burn. They get paid to make things go wrong, not right. The New York Times should have said all the bad news fit to print. The guy did SpaceX, and we're going to harvest all those asteroids. We're going to have plenty of raw materials because, rare earths. Let me do the right word. Is it because China says, we own all the rare earths now? Bullshit. They don't own crap. By the way, I've been to China 80 times, so Chinese people are wonderful. I love them. I sold 374 million books in China. Nobody's outsold me because they didn't understand Seoul was talking about God stuff, pal. And, then... I can go on and on, but it's just so fun. So there are 40,000 satellites. He is solving the problems in Ukraine because he's got the satellites up. And Neuralink is really cool in case you don't know what he's done. And I'm opposed to the chip, and I understand some of you know some issues with the chip. But let me tell you what Neuralink has done. My wife's 1 of 9. One of her brothers is a top podiatrist up in Oregon. He's out surfing in Hawaii, breaks his back, and now he has to lay flat in a sling to do foot operations, and he's considered one of the best, if not the best in the world. I see what Alon's doing. With Neuralink, he's taking non-ambulatory people and making them ambulatory. He's taking blind people and making them sighted. Now, I'm not sure what the downsides are, and he isn't either, and he's the first one to say AI has some downsides to it, and we don't know what it is. But let's look at that objectively. Fire can either warm a house or burn it down. Fire doesn't care. It matters whether the person has a moral compass, and I'm asking you all to make all money you can make, but have a moral compass that's bigger. And I'm just saying, look, my position, and you don't have to like him, is Elon Musk is a genius. I'm going to talk to you about one more of his people.